And I love myself.
You guys look
Here,
great.
I'll get my leg out of the way for you.
All right.
We good?
You good, Stace? Yes, sir.
First of all, talk about this vote for change thing. Just coming off the high that must have been, because I was watching it on TV Monday night. Just talk about just what was going through you guys' heads by the end of that night. Because you guys look like, I've seen you guys play many times, but it must have been something special.
With the Vote for Change tour, it just felt to me, really, from what we were getting back from the audience, that obviously the whole thing is much bigger than all of us. I mean, people are going out with a purpose and a mission, and I think just buying a ticket and being a part of that thing felt, to a lot of people who I spoke to after the event, it felt like they were trying to do something. They were trying to raise their voice to make sure that on November 2nd, there's a change.
And if you can compare that, because you guys have been involved in stuff like this before, does this seem more monumental, like a bigger deal? Do you actually have that feeling? This is...
Yeah, well, nothing like this has ever been done before. This many major and soon-to-be major artists all coming together to play shows in the same state on the same night. It did, as you said, it felt like being a part of something much bigger than ourselves. But it also felt like finally people in America, at least musicians and young people, were standing up and saying something, you know, trying to make their voices heard, which for the last, 15, 20 years or something, you haven't heard a lot of that. And it felt good to be, at least part of the catalyst for that.
Does that affect everything you guys are doing right now, segueing into this tour that starts tonight? Does this whole thing feel more monumental? Does that same kind of wave of energy and enthusiasm carry over to what you'll be doing on this tour, different from, say, last year?
In my opinion, the country changed dramatically after September 11th. I was in New York on that day, and I think a lot of people felt like they could not raise a voice. They could not certainly raise a voice of dissent. That period I call the Great Quiet. That shifted about a year and a half ago, and I think it shifted in such a way that we're now in a period of great personal activism. I think all Americans, whether they're pop stars, carpenters, mailmen, or executives, feel like they want to raise their voice, whatever it is. They want to be heard. We have technology like the internet helping people come together and recognize that they're not alone in their opinions and their feelings about the current administration. So I think this election is very, very important. The energy going into it from the Vote for Change tour hopefully worked as a catalyst for a lot of people out there. And we just want to see people get to the polling booths on November 2nd.
Yeah. How's it going to affect what you guys are doing between now and November 2nd on tour? In terms of anything different, in terms of what you guys are saying on stage, or?
Well, I think at this point we've said our piece. We've made the biggest possible statement we could make, and now we're sort of sliding into a sort of a parallel thing, which is our tour for our record. And we'll have one eye on the developments in the political world certainly while we're doing this. But at the same time, we're thrilled to be out here. We've got a new record that we really love. We're looking forward to playing it for people. So it's going to be interesting, two things going along at once like that.
Yeah.
There won't be any hectoring or proselytizing from the stage. I think people, as Mike said, recognize where we stand in this election and how we feel.
Yeah.
They're coming to hear music, and that's what they're going to get.
Yeah. Talk about coming here to the Greek to do your things. If I'm right, you guys were here first in, I think, 85 on the Reconstruction Tour, because I remember being there, but I may be wrong.
That sounds
I think
about
that's right, yeah.
How have things changed when you guys are here and dressing rooms getting ready? Can you remember back what things were like then and how things have changed?
I don't think we had access to this room in 1985. I don't think they would let us back here. We've changed a lot. I'll quote a movie, Velvet Goldmine. One of the characters said, "We set out to change the world, and we only wound up changing ourselves." It kind of feels like 19 years later, we're playing the same beautiful, in my opinion, the best outdoor show in Los Angeles, the Greek Theater. And it's really great to be here.
I feel, it makes me feel just lucky that I've been able to do the thing that I love for, 20 years, 20 plus years. I sit here and look around and I go, I had no idea when I played this place the first time I'd still be doing this for this long and still be enjoying it just as much too.
And also touring behind an album that's as good or better than anything you guys have ever done. How proud are you of Around the Sun? How exciting is it to have all this new music now to share with everybody?
For myself, I'm the least prolific in terms of writing lyrics of the three of us, and I'm still in the most prolific period that I've ever had. I wrote more songs for this record than I've ever written for any of our prior records, and I think the material shows that. It's very strong, and it speaks of now. It speaks of the time that we're living in, and I think it's significant for that. It's certainly, to me, it's significant. I think for people out there that want to hear something that maybe supports the way that they feel in what is turned into a very confusing and a somewhat chaotic world. This record, in my opinion, does that. Did that sound arrogant? I hope not.
musically, how does what you do work with that? I mean, the album has a very contemporary feel to it in many ways. It feels very now. So talk about, as a musician, both of you guys, how that comes together in terms of just the overall production and feel you're hoping to kind of get across.
I think for myself and Peter, we don't really think about the type of song we're writing when we write it. We just sit down with a guitar or a piano, and whatever comes out is what comes out. We dump a lot more music on Michael than he could ever possibly hope to write lyrics to. That's just because we just write so much. It's just an everyday thing for us. So in that sense, it's contemporary simply because we did it now. We don't go to trends or use the latest thing or whatever that may be. But we're very lucky that we're the kind of band that we can use just about any style. Or go in any direction that we want to, and it'll still sound real because we've never pegged ourselves into one little place. So we're lucky that way.
Yeah, and everyone, obviously, it's getting great acclaim. Leaving New York is just beautiful on so many levels. Talk about sharing that. I haven't heard it yet live, but I heard that's an amazing experience. What that's been like, showing that song to people and having that out there now.
I'm happy to report that Leaving New York live is working. I was a little concerned about it. It's one of those songs that kind of fell out of me. The lyric fell out of me. I was on a plane leaving New York, looking out the window at the city. And having been there on September 11, 2001, the city has changed forever. Not all for the worse. It just felt to me, New York is my second home. It felt to me like it was time to write a love song to the city, and that's what I did. The song, like every song on this record, to be frank, is from a more unconscious voice. It's really, I've discovered after 24 years of doing this that if I can turn off my thinking brain and let a more unconscious voice take over and do all the work, that the songs, I think, reflect much more what I'm feeling, but not aware of what I'm feeling. And those feelings, I find, are often shared by a lot of people. So it just feels a lot more real.
And a lot of that, I think, is very romantic in many terms of the...
I'm a romantic. I mean, I'm kind of sappy in my worst moments. These guys rein me in when I get really out there, but yeah, there's an element of romance. And there's also an element of chaos and sadly, truth about the really confusing times that we're living in right now. So part of the record is kind of overtly political. I personally believe that you can't really be a U.S. citizen right now without breathing politics with each inhale and exhale. It's just such an important time for us as a country in terms of where we're going from this month forward.
Everyone's real optimistic, and what if things don't go the way we all hope, and the current people stay in power? How does that affect your art or the world today? For all you guys who've been working real hard to change the vote for change.
We'll be in the opposition if it doesn't go the way we'd like it to on November 2nd. People make a lot of squawking about, well, I'm moving to Canada or I'm moving to Europe if Bush wins again. And, there may be a few that do, but generally, the people that are standing up and doing this, the people that are part for Vote for Change, despite what the naysayers may tell you, we're doing this because we love this country. We love America. We like living here. And we want to see America be the best country that it can be. And we think John Kerry's the man to do that. And if that doesn't work, then we'll stay here and continue to try to make it a better country.
Yeah. This album's already gone.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll just get back to the music.
Yeah.
This album's already gone, I know, #1 in a number of countries, close to it in a bunch of others. It's going to debut real well here.
We're #1 in 6 countries, a little bit more than a week after releasing the record. We're gold in 9 countries, and we have a top 5 single in all of those with Leaving New York. So it feels great after 24 years of doing this that people are still interested in listening, and that I guess we don't suck yet.
How surprised are you guys? Because you guys, you're still amazing. You're still considered one of the best bands on the planet. But is it still a surprise when a new album comes out and wow, it's all there?
It's my favorite day of the year. It's such a relief when this thing that we've been working on so hard and I've been putting so much focus and so much energy into, when it's finally out in the world, it just feels like it doesn't belong to us anymore. It's like that for me as a music fan is the beauty of music. As a medium, it's so personal, and other people interpreting the music that we put out makes it theirs. And so it's such an immense relief on the day that the record's released. I like it.
Is it a bigger deal now, knowing that everyone looks to you guys have reached a certain stature where everything's kind of historic, what you guys do in terms of rock history, where every tour gets documented a certain way in every album? Do you think about that a little more in terms of, how you guys are written about?
The thing about being around for so long, is that the bar has been raised by either by yourselves or by your listening public or by the critics or by whomever. So it doesn't get easier. I mean, someone came to me a month ago and said, "Why do you work so hard? I thought that it would be really easy at this point. I mean, look at what you've done." I'm like, I can't rest on what I did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago. It doesn't work that way. I think he was a little dismayed, actually. He's a musician. And I think he thought it was good, like retirement time around 35. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we love what we do. You know, I'm so fortunate. I wake up every morning, and I've had a great life, and we all have. But I wake up and I go, my job is something that I find great satisfaction in, and it's something that I have an incredible love for music. So that turned into what we do, and it's awesome.
And talking about working hard, you guys have an amazing tour you're about to step out on. It's going to go to some amazing places.
We're on tour until July of next year.
We'll go to a lot of places we've never been before. We went to South Africa and several of the old Eastern Bloc countries. And it's good. I mean, it feels good. It's nice to. I mean, on a snotty level, it's nice to go to places that don't get a lot of music, and on another level, it feels really good that our music transcends borders and languages and boundaries, and people can enjoy it no matter where they live or what language they speak.
Mm-hmm. One time you guys were always considered, the Athens band and all the Southern influences and that kind of stuff. Has there been, I know lyrically, but in terms of this whole international thing, so much of music's been about travel over the last few records, and how much of that has really changed what you write about and how you guys look at the band?
Well, I'm happy to announce that we have all changed immensely in 24 years, but we started as the band from Athens, and then we became a Georgia band, and then we became a Southern band, and then we became an American band, and now we're more of an international band, I guess. As Mike just said, music transcends borders. It's such a powerful medium for that reason, that you don't have to even understand the language in order to hear and feel something when you listen to music. So,
But you can't.
Again, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you can't think about that while you're making it, because if you start thinking, "Oh my God, the people all over the world are going to be listening," you just have to.
We're pretty selfish that way. We write the songs really for ourselves, and I will say that I am my own worst critic for my contribution to what we do. Each of us we're tough as nails, and so the satisfaction that we get when we do find a group of songs like Around the Sun, like the 13 songs that comprise that record, 55 minutes of music, and it works together as a piece, and they work individually as songs. I don't know, there's something about that for me is just magical and cool. Which sounds really dumb. Magical and cool.
But it's true.
You better not edit that out.
You know that'll be the one bite we use.
I know. Stipe, magical and cool. One more.
Just the road you guys are on now, with this tour and the fact you guys have been productive and you've been prolific, is this going to continue? Do you have a bunch more songs you guys are ready to get? It'll be another maybe new adventures in hi-fi. You guys are recording things on the road? Or?
We'll be working on stuff during Soundcheck for sure. Like I said, songwriting is something for us that just never stops. I doubt we'll record it on the road like we did last time. I mean, that was a great thing to do, and I really am happy with the way that turned out. But that would be repeating yourself, which is something we kind of try not to do.
I think my goal anyway is to have enough songs by the end of this tour that we can take off a good bit of time, go into a studio and knock out a record in a month, and do it really differently from the way we've done it the past several records, just to kind of upset the apple cart. We don't like falling into what's it called?
Routine.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, guys.
Thank you so much. All right.
Let me show you real quick. I always share this with you. The new picture of my daughter. All right. This is her from.
Wow. That's great. Beautiful. That's very cool.
too. One. Oh, man, that's loud. Thank you, George. Yeah. Okay. It's quiet now, and what it brings is everything. Comes calling back a brilliant night. I'm still awake. I looked ahead, I'm sure I saw you there. You don't need me to tell you now that nothing can compare. You might have laughed if I told you. You might have hidden a frown. You might have succeeded in changing me. I might have been turned around. It's easier to leave than to be left behind. Leaving was never my pride. Leaving New York never easy. I saw the light fading out. Now life is sweet and what it brings I try to take. But loneliness, it wears me out. It lies in wait. And all my lost still in my eye. The shadow of necklace across your thigh. I might have lived my life in a dream, but I swear this is real. Memory fuses and shatters like glass. Mercurial future, forget the past. But you, it's what I feel. You might have laughed if I told you. You might have hidden a frown. You might have succeeded in changing me. I might have been turned around. It's easier to leave than to be left behind. Leaving was never my Now the radio stutters, his lips too light. Some sour song that sets it right. And when London falls, he'd like to call, but the stars collide. They're beautiful and much maligned in a universe where you see the worst, and it's up to you to fix it. Now you've worked it out, and you see it all, and you've worked it out, and you see it all, and you want to shout how you see it all. It's easy to dismiss, so what's it all about? Crowd, there is no doubt. It's this here now, and you close your eyes. He's not coming back, so you work it out. Overfeed the cat, and the plants are dry. They need to drink, so you do your best, and you flood the sink. Sit down in the kitchen and cry. Now you've worked it out, and you see it all, and you've worked it out, and you see it all, and you want to shout.